All right. Welcome to the Good Builder podcast, and I have an amazing guest today. I've wanted to talk to him for so long, and I actually just said to him that I look up to him, and that's not a lie. You know, I've seen the stuff that he's done in his life. I haven't seen everything he's done in his life, but what he's created. So meet Ed from Trade Mutt. What a legend.
Aaron, good to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you, mate. So I guess everyone kind of knows the story and things like that, but if you wanted to recap how Trade Mutt sort of started.
So Trade Mutt, social enterprise workwear company, started after Dan and I met on a building site in 2014.
Yeah.
So I've been working in the territory after boarding school for a few years, did a bit of study, wasted a fair bit of money on tertiary education.
Yeah.
And then, came back and started a mature age carpentry apprenticeship.
Yep.
Dan, he started working for the same builder on the same day. We just hit it off, had the same humour, talked a lot of shit on site.
Yeah.
We were stuck together as the two new blokes.
Yep.
And basically just talked about all different business ideas we would love to do one day.
Yeah.
One of those ideas was funky work shirts, and no one had seemed to do it or had done it. And we just kind of left it at that. It was one conversation.
Yeah.
And then Dan, at the end of 2015, he lost a close mate to suicide.
Yeah.
And that was our first experience directly and indirectly with that event happening, an event like that happening. And so we were like, what's the go with this fucking suicide? Like, suicide shouldn't be happening. And why is this such a big issue? And we just looked at the landscape and we said, well, the mental health landscape at the time when we started was so hard to navigate. You know, people would say, "Oh, don't even talk about it because of the risk of someone may kill themselves." And we're like, "That's fucking just Well, how are we ever going to fix this if we can't
if we're not
talk
having
about
conversations?"
Something?
Yeah.
And so we just learned about social enterprise, profit for purpose, tied the work shirts in with the mental health conversation, and it kind of all just blossomed from there.
Yeah. Wow. So before that, you were working in construction. There was no mental health it was just something that you spotted in the industry and just thought, we need to sort this out. We want to be part of this and we want to sort it out.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like Dan and I have been having conversations with a lot of people recently that a part of the dynamic that we've got in the space that we are in, we don't come from a history of, I've never been suicidal personally, and neither's Dan.
Yeah,
we're just two blokes that were like, there's a mental health problem.
Yeah.
And we have had our own mental health challenges.
Yeah.
And we've had to navigate them, but we feel that we can collectively work together to change the industry and the culture of help-seeking behaviour so people aren't suicidal or aren't getting to suicidal ideation.
Yeah.
Because we're so much further up the stream. We're really trying to cut the space between just a general conversation about mental health and well-being and Lifeline, basically. It's like, how can we stop so many people having to reach that crisis, service or crisis point, really?
That's phenomenal. And the first time I saw the shirts on site, and these were years ago, I stopped in my tracks. I think it was one of the coolest. I know it's not a marketing ploy or anything, but it's one of the coolest. It's a conversation starter. Yeah. People go, what's this all about? What is this all about? And I remember it was Kenny from My Clatters. We have him on the pod a bit.
Yep.
He's a massive fan of yours, and it was him. And I walked onto a site and I saw him, and I was like, "What is this?" And he showed me the whole, Trade Mutt. You'll never walk alone, and all this stuff. And then I started following you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, awesome.
And I was like, and Dan, and I was like, mate, like what these two young blokes have done is phenomenal for the industry. And to be honest, it's been a bit of an inspiration for the Good Builder.
Awesome.
In that, you inspired us to try and do better for the industry. And I know you're tackling that mental health part. We're trying to tackle the whole, like, how do you start a building business and how do you do it well and how do you remain resilient, which a lot is with mental health. And that's why we partner with you guys so much.
Mate. Yeah, it's great.
It's just phenomenal what you do. So what's next on the cards?
Mate, there's a lot. There's a lot on the cards. We're very close to getting a training business up and going. So like on-site peer training, values, understanding oneself. Really leveling up, understanding of, personal development. And that's real starting point, really.
Fantastic.
I feel there's a massive gap for people better understanding themselves to be a better than part of a team.
100%.
Our hypothesis is kind of the Wayne Bennett, method of one best knowing themselves can then best understand how to be a better team member. So just having those, honest and real conversations on an individual basis, so people can start to grow. Because I know for Dan and I through this journey, you know, we knew nothing about mental health and wellbeing. We knew nothing about ourselves when we started.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's like you crack the fucking egg and then
everything
the
comes
information
out.
And there's so much, you know, like we were just having a chat with a guy outside before, Rob, who has got a story of a larger proportion of my personal story of like fucking growing up without realizing that you felt like a failure if anything went wrong. Like you had to make everything work. And like I had no idea that was inbuilt in me. But going and spending time with psychs, studying and reading, understanding, it's like, fuck, that's me. Like I get triggered if I can't get something done or if I can't get something sorted. I was putting so much pressure on myself, and then that comes out in other ways.
Yeah.
So me being able to better understand that, well then I can harness it for good, but also know when it's coming up, you know?
I was just about to say that. I was about to say it sounds like a superpower, and then it sounds like something that not many people would also want because it'll drive you beyond belief.
Yeah.
But it'll drive you on belief in that. I mean, obviously the success with Trade Mutt and, you know, affiliated with TIACS and all of that sort of thing is just like, it must be, you know, that's a big piece of you that drives.
Yeah, well, like there's a book I read earlier last year, Brene Brown book. She talks about values and understanding oneself. And as I was, you know, reading the chapter, I was just there. My wife was sitting next to me on the couch. I said, "Wait, let's just do this exercise together, like just better understand ourselves." Like it's just your top two values, and mine is reliability and like financial security, basically.
Yeah.
And so when I'm like, I'm going to do something, I'll do it. And if I can't, I'll be letting people know that it can't be done before it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I didn't like, and I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. And then once you know, like my wife's integrity and wisdom. So it's like, you better understand each other. And you're like, oh, that's why you might get triggered by this or a conversation I have. And, you know, like I'll be ringing up about, how we can, you know, be a bit not dodgy on tax with persons, but it's, you know, we can do this thing. She's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, well that makes sense because integrity is that, you know, so better understanding oneself and then understanding your connection with your loved ones is really important. So that's the kind of stuff we want to do more of.
Well, I think for building teams, if you're going out there and doing it on site or you're doing it with teams and construction teams, I think that's super important.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's, you know, it's one of the, I think, you know, building a home or in construction is like, you're on a footy team, you just can't let people down.
It's all communication.
It is, isn't it?
And understanding who are the best players or how players play best in their area.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we just, you know, organisations, you know, like Live Life Build who have got a big following and such as yourselves as well. So we're just going to people who want to be better.
Yeah.
We're not going out and telling people they need to do this.
Yeah.
It's people that want to.
Yep.
And they're our clientele, people we want to work with. And just be that go-to organisation.
Yep. And you know they'll spread the word, mate. So beyond the training and that self-awareness sort of stuff, is there anything else going on?
So TIACS is continuing to scale TIACS up. Yeah. I was just showing some people before this week on Monday. We had our most intake at an evening session. So, and they're all from industry. So you know, young builders. I was a boat builder. So many people reaching out and using us, which is just amazing. Yeah. And the conversation too with a lady outside before, she's like, oh, it's so like sad to know that so many people need to reach out. And we're like, no.
Yeah.
People reaching out is the best thing.
It is.
It's like me going to the gym. I know you're a big gym guy too. Yeah. Like me going to the gym every morning, starting my day right, setting a foundation. I'm doing something good for myself.
100%.
Me going and seeing my psych, same thing.
Yeah.
Counselling, reaching out to TIACS, that is good. That is preventative, early intervention. Yeah. Better understanding what's your triggers are, what's going on, stresses you have.
Yeah.
Just getting that shit off your plate.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So that's, people reaching out to TIACS, good numbers is great. Big numbers is good.
That's fantastic. And, you know, we're going to be a big supporter of TIACS and things like that. But how can people get involved with supporting TIACS as well? Like, we're going to get a bunch of people on board. So we're going to get suppliers and things to do stuff. But how else can they do it?
So TIACS is funded by industry. So we've got an alliance funding partnership. So people can sign up, pay a portion for a full-time counsellor over a 12-month period. So a monthly subscription. Or you can just sign up and pay a sum every month and keep our phone lines operating. So yeah, it's really exciting, mate.
Yeah, and then you can also we're doing a couple of things. I'm not trying to spruik our good builder thing, but we're doing a couple of things with Lux's Greats, where we're giving away a Gold Coast Titans jersey. So that's going to shortly go out. I think we're going to launch that next week.
Yeah, awesome,
Ed,
mate.
and we were looking to raise that tens of thousands of dollars. Copped a pretty good tackle for that one.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm still sore.
Yep.
But and then we've got the Mike Tyson glove. So if anyone out there, Tim Zoo, I want you to hit me, or somebody out there who wants to hit me,
where's
just
Tim
hit me for charity. We want to get rid of this. It's for, to get some attention so we can raffle off this Mike Tyson glove. That's what we're looking to do, because, the work that you and Dan and Charles and Sue and the team do is just like, it blew me away. And sorry, I'm not trying to take over this podcast, but very quickly I want to make a note. Or I want to say something. How this kind of relationship started. As I said, I've been fangirling Ed for a little while, and Dan. But I put a thing up on LinkedIn, and it was 4 a.m. in the morning, I believe, and I'd had a friend who had some issues. Mate, that day, within a couple of hours, it was actually Ed right here. You commented back on it. I think Ash called you out.
Yeah.
Ed commented back on. He goes, "Give me a call."
Yeah.
Like, what, you live and breathe what you do at Trade Mutt, what you do at TIACS, everything you live, it's for real. And that's why I was like, as soon as you gave me that call and you said, "Hey, here's a number, here's what you can do," you took me through the counselling sessions and the steps and everything like that. I'm like, mate, we're going to dedicate our whole partnership and sponsorship to Trade Mutt and TIACS, mate.
Thanks, I appreciate it, brother. That's
we really
awesome,
appreciate it.
Yeah. No, we're all about walking the walk, talking the talk. It's for industry by industry, mate. We're just the kind of the middle puppet masters to keep it all going. So it's awesome. I really appreciate your support. It's fucking unreal.
No, a bit more than a puppet master, but anyway, I'll let you go. And mate, it's been absolutely awesome talking to you, Ed. And I hope you have you back on.
Thanks, Aaron.
You're a legend,
brother. Cheers.
Thanks
mate.
heaps.